oil prices are up today by 1%. This after OPEC Plus yesterday denounced price cap imposed by EU, G7 and Australia on Russian oil. Moscow is now trying to cover up the loss from sales of its crude oil. Russia and its OPEC Plus allies held a meeting yesterday to discuss future course of action. Major oil producing nations led by Saudi Arabia and Russia agreed yesterday to maintain current output levels in a climate of uncertainty, and ahead of fresh sanctions against Moscow that are coming into effect from next week. Representatives of 13 members of OPEC Plus and allies headed by Moscow decided to stick to their course agreed in October of a production cut of 2 million barrels per day until end of next year. Now, OPEC Plus has described its October decision to cut as one which was purely driven by market considerations, adding that it had been necessary and right course of action towards stabilizing global oil markets. Though the next OPEC meeting is scheduled for 4th of June next year, Alliance said it is ready to meet any time and take measures to address market developments. Things got tougher for Moscow last week when Western allies agreed a $60 barrel price cap on Russian oil. It will come into effect on Monday or soon after, alongside an EU embargo on maritime deliveries of Russian crude oil. It will prevent seaborne shipments of Russian crude to European Union. This accounts for two-thirds of bloc's oil imports from Russia. It is an attempt to deprive Moscow's war chest of billions of euros. So while Russia denounced incoming price cap, it threatened to suspend deliveries to any country that adopted the measures. Now, Ukraine suggested cap should have been set even lower. For OPEC Plus, the big unknown in oil equation is how heavily sanctions will hit Russian supply. And to talk more on this, we are joined by Simon Lee, Fellow, APAC Institute of Business, Shenzhen, China. He's joining from there. Good morning to Mr. Lee. First of all, I would like to ask you, how do you see this overall impacting crude oil prices? Today they are up 1%.
Now, this is a bad time to the global market, but I think it's understandable because OPEC countries need to maintain their revenue. And we see that the oil price has fallen quite a lot in this month. So though the winter is coming, it's not that positive for the European country and the United States, but the OPEC countries need to maintain the revenue for their government. So I think it's a kind of political struggle among all the countries. And I think that the reason made by OPEC is that this weakening economy in the United States and Europe is a vicious cycle. But weakening economy may be quite substantially due to the rise in the oil price. And China quite still very strict with policy will reduce the demand for oil. I think if it's relaxed the oil, the cuts in the oil supply, then it will have a blow to the revenues of those countries and will make the price fall further.
Right. And Mr. Lee, $100 a barrel oil was there in since Feb, in fact, in the beginning of the year. Now it's down to below 90 from last many months. Would it touch $100 once again, as there are more instances of China, or more now possibility of China opening up?
I think it's possible now, simply because winter is coming. It depends on the weather condition, but usually in winter we see people will turn on more heating. But on the other hand, there's another force is that people may try to drive less in the winter. But China is variable. Now the Chinese government is now relaxing on its COVID policy, but Chinese New Year is coming. So I think there's a chance that the oil price would hit around 100, but then won't rise much further from that level because everything we see that after Chinese New Year, then the winter may come to an end, and there will be less demand for the oil at that time.
All right, Mr. Lee, also, since there is a $60 to a cap or per barrel cap coming on Russian oil, would it lead to more discounted oil for countries like Russia, India and China, as they've been buying Russian oil now?
Now, yeah, this is the back door, and I think they have some ways for India and China to take the advantage of the Russian oil, and that this will reduce the demand from India and China on the oil from the global market. and this will have a negative effect on the oil price. So there are so many driving forces. So I don't think the oil price will rise much further than $100, maybe just during the adjustment period, then it will rise a bit. So the current rise, I think, will maintain only for a short while.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for joining us this morning and getting us all these details and important perspective on this developing story. WION now available in your country. Download the app and get all the news on the move.